SC2 patch review update. Alright, kids. Here we go. This is the Mighty Hupsaiya's take on the New Balance update, alright? So, previously on balance changes, they were going to give the Viking 15 more HP. I like that they decided to not do this. This was a bad change. Anytime they give a unit just like a direct stat boost, it's not a good thing. We'd like to instead tackle the Viking strength in late game with alterations to end game units from other races, such as the Tempest. So they're reducing the range of the Tempest by 1. We'll get to that. They're increasing the cooldown of tactical jump. This is good. Infestors are going to need to research Neural Parasite. So this is no longer going to be like Infestors hard counter battlecruiser harassment. And now the tactical jump puts the battlecruiser in a 1-second vulnerability phase before it teleports. The thing is fungal and neural are not going to stop the battlecruiser from teleporting. Previously, how they had this, it would cause the battlecruiser, when it got fungal, it would no longer be able to teleport. It would stop it. We'll be removing changes to tactical jump cooldown and reinstating the Neural Parasite upgrade. We'll also be keeping the vulnerability phase on tactical jump with one key alteration. Stun effects, such as Interference Matrix, Fungal Growth, and Abduct, will no longer be able to cancel the tactical jump and put it on cooldown. I think this is good. It still gives you the opportunity to kill the battlecruiser before it can teleport away, but they're still going to retain a lot of their power. Reverted the new upgrade, Sundering Impact. This was bad. Them making the charge thing into a new upgrade was bad. Reverted the Adept Hut change. Reverted the Adept Shields change. New upgrade. Removed. Good. I'm glad that they just didn't do this shit. This was all bad. All this shit was bad. This was not good. Adding more upgrades to the game, not good. Overly complicates the game for no reason. We'd also like to put a pause on these changes in favor of some alternate proposals. We have concerns regarding Protos's resulting overall power level after this change. For Adepts, we hear feedback that this upgrade isn't impactful enough, so if we reintroduced it, we would do so with slightly altered stats. Okay, so here's the new changes that they're proposing, right? Active creep tumors may no longer be canceled. This is great. This is great. This forces Zerg to actually think about their decisions when they spread creep. Like, is my creep tumor going to be safe for the whole time? I can't cancel it. This is good. This is like forcing extra decision making onto Zerg players for a very basic and only reward task. Like, spreading creep has always been a basic only reward task for Zerg. Now it's going to have a little bit of a risk involved. Pneumatized Carapace, they reverted the cost decrease. This is great. This is good. This is good for PVs, or this is good for versus Protoss. This is good versus Terran. Less scouting for Zerg means more lethality for builds from Protoss and Terran. It's going to allow us to kill Zerg players or gimp them in the mid-game much better, okay? So this is good. I like this. I really like this. Zerg are still going to be getting Pneumatized Carapace, but it costing 100 to 100, it's going to have a little bit more of an effect on their ability to defend against the things that they're scouting. The Infestor, no more infested Terrans. So imagine in your head that there's a Triforce of power to Zerg. There's Broodlings up here at the top, and then there's the infested Terran, and then there's the Locust, and they're just like, boop! No more Triforce of infested free units. Free units gone. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. They're getting a new spell, Microbial Shroud, reduces incoming damage taken from air units by 50 seconds. They're going to have to change this. I don't think it's good enough. It does have a very large... 3 is a huge radius. So maybe it will be better. You know, maybe it's better than I think it is, but I think that they're definitely going to have to change this a little bit. I don't think that it's strong enough. It is very cool. It's going to make carriers do like 1 damage. Carriers will do like interceptors will do 1 damage to things while they're in this shield. So this is cool. This is really cool. It's going to be an upgrade as well. This is good. This is good. Doesn't stop storm, useless. I think that they should add the subclause that this just reduces the damage that everything does by 50%. Not just area units. It should just straight up reduce all damage by 50% while things are in this cloud. That would be cool. That would be cool. It might be a little bit too powerful. I think it might be a little bit too powerful. So, like, the radius is 3, though. It's a gigantic radius. It's cool. We're not completely shelving the previously proposed changes to the Infested Terran. We'd like to try an alternate proposal. This new ability is designed to replace the anti-air role that the Infested Terran ability occupied. A key difference, however, is that Microbial Shroud acts as more of a force multiplier rather than a stand-alone spell with lethal potential. This means that mass infestors will be significantly less powerful than before, and that others or ground units would have to be mixed in for maximum effectiveness. This is good. This is good. It's a defensive spell. It's good. We're not going to see 6 infestors poop infested Terrans all over a base, and then you just lose the whole base. We're still going to see that problem with Swarm Hosts, but Swarm Hosts can only do that. So this is fine. This is a cost increase to the Nidus, 75-75. This is really not going to fix the problems with the Nidus. This is like a slight band-aiding. It's like meh. I'm not sold on the Nidus Orb changes. Charge no longer provides zealots with plus 8 damage. Instead, increases their movement speed from 3.15 to 4.72. They will move faster than stemmed bio. This is good. I love this. This is great. This is actually amazing. It brings back the relationship where zealots, you get plus 1 attack, they one-shot zerglings. Good shit. Good shit. They move faster than speedlings off creep. No, they don't. Speedlings have 5 movement speed, okay? You're wrong. Adept Glaive rework. Instead of increasing attack speed of the Adept by 45%, it will increase the attack speed of the Adept by 60% for 6 seconds after completing Psionic Transfer. This, I don't like. I don't like this. This is not good. This is not going to make people find unique ways to use the Adept. This is going to make people abandon Adept play entirely, and we will never see Adept play ever anymore. This is not good. Yes, this change, this will increase the Zealot's movement speed permanently once you've upgraded Charge. It already did increase its movement speed, but now they're adding an extra 0.6 movement speed on top of that. Yeah, this glaive change, this is bad. They are, like, they're trying to reward people who can, like, send the shade, go multitask, and then come back and control the shade again after it's transferred. But it doesn't work how they think it does. Like, the game doesn't work how they think it does. Its role overlaps that of the Zealot, and it's viewed as having low utility in the late game, which we believe is due to the Zealot overshadowing it. I think that what they could do, reduce the attack speed buff, reduce the passive attack speed buff, add the plus 10 shields thing to it. That would be cool. That would be cool, right? If it just gives like 35% attack speed, but it increases the shields by 20 when you finish this upgrade. Bam! Suddenly they're a tanky unit. They're not as terribly trash because their DPS is completely garbage, but they also don't become like your highest DPS unit in your army. Zarik work resonating Graves upgrade, and one that moves it away from the direction of being a strong pusher and towards one that highlights the. This is not even a thing. It's not even a strong pusher unit. It's not. It doesn't even fill this role. They're totally off the mark here. This is just wrong. This is just wrong. They will only achieve only 92% of its previous upgraded damage when used optimally in a frontal fight in the long term. However, it will become much more effective at burst damage. For example, after a shade and for surprise worker harassment, or when you need to break a marine tank push. No, it's not going to work. We're just going to not see it anymore. This is the big one. Mothership is now a heroic unit. Can no longer be neural parasited. Praise Jesus. Finally, finally. Okay, so let's look at the whole. Let's look at all the changes together. and then I'll go over everything, okay? Because those are just the new ones that they're proposing. They're fixing this, which is really good. The Oracle and the Sentry weapon updated to prevent weapons from firing slower than intended. What they accidentally did when they tried to fix the bug where you can fire through a shield battery with a Void Ray or an Oracle is that they removed the ability for the units to instantly retarget after they shoot something, which is really bad. Really reduces the effectiveness of units in combat. Really bad. So they're fixing that. The units will be able to fire after killing something immediately. Fixed a bug where the Lurker had less range than intended. The Thor's high impact payload will now receive proper upgrade values. Good, good, good. Zerg's getting fucked. Zerg deserves to get fucked, okay? Zerg deserves to get fucked. That's the truth, okay? So, here's the full list of changes, alright? Infernal Hellion, or Infernal Pre-Igniter, cost reduced. Good, cool, legit. I like it. Thor, high impact payload, damage decreased, weapon speed increased. So this is going to make the Thor more microable. I really don't have like a strong opinion on this one. It's going to make the Thor less of a burst damage mechanic. So it will make Tempests better versus Thors, which is nice. So we'll, and the later on when we look at the Protoss changes, I'll talk about that more. This medevac upgrade, this is really good. The way that they're changing this, they're making this really good. Medevacs are going to have 4 movement speed. Really good. It's on the fusion core though, so it's going to be a very late game upgrade, which kind of like makes me feel like we might not see it being very effective. This advanced ballistics thing, they're moving it from the tech lab to the fusion core. Terran players can double pump liberators out of a starport with the reactor add-on without needing to switch their starports around. This is good for them, reducing the range of defender mode liberators from 4 to 3. Good. They're going to be more of them, faster. It's going to be harder for Protoss and Zerg to deal with these units in the mid-game pushes. It's going to be good. Ravens, interference matrix energy cost increased from 50 to 75. Good. Nice. Mid-game Terran pushes getting nerfed versus both races. This is going to change TVT as well a lot. The Raven's only going to be able to disable 2 tanks instead of 4 tanks. Big deal in those kind of fights. Increasing the movement speed, increasing the duration. I'm fine with these because the ability is going to be able to use less. It should have more impact. Battlecruiser changes. We already kind of went over these. When you tactical jump, you're in a 1-second vulnerability phase. So people are going to have to use the ability to teleport sooner. They're not going to wait until the unit has 1 HP and then teleport away invulnerably. They're not going to be invulnerable when they teleport away. You can kill the unit. So Terran players, they're going to have to be way more careful with their battlecruiser harassment, especially versus Zerg. So they're going to teleport in, or they're going to have to walk across the map. And then before the unit gets to like less than 20% HP, they're going to have to leave. Yamato cannon no longer cancels itself. The target enters a transport or becomes burst. This is another nerf to the battlecruiser. If you fire on a unit and it loads up into a medevac or a transport before the Yamato cannon fires, what would currently happen is that the Yamato cannon cancels and it doesn't go on cooldown. After this change, if you dodge the Yamato cannon, no matter whether it's already fired or it's in the process of firing, it's going to go on cooldown. This is just like overall nerfs to the battlecruiser. It deserves it. It's really fucking powerful right now. This is a nice quality of life change for Terran players. They're going to have one less action to take care of every minute, essentially. Creep tumors no longer can be canceled. I like this. This is good. Putting extra decision-making onto the Zerg player when they make mindless actions that only have benefits to them. Overlord pneumatized carapace going back to the way it was before. I think Zergs are still going to be making this Overlord, this upgrade like 90% of their games. It's like actually imperative that they get scouting information. They're going to need it. Remove the infested Terran. We like it. I don't like free units. They're bad. Microbial Shroud. This is going to be a lot better than people are giving it credit for. 50% reduced damage is a big deal. The thing is that when you have a bunch of Hydralisks, you're afraid of Storm. I feel like this should reduce spell damage as well. Imagine Storm doing 50% less damage onto units that are in this shroud. That would be a big deal. That would help a lot because the power of the Protoss late game army is Storm and then everything else added together. Neuroparasite range decreased from 9 to 8. Good. Can no longer target heroic units. Good. I like that. They're reducing the infestor's strength. It's no longer gonna be like, hey, I have 20 infestors. There's nothing you can do about my army anymore. They're reducing the build time of the lurker den. This is good. This is good. We're gonna see lurkers more in the mid game. They're reducing the overall strength of the unit before Hive. I like that a lot. This is a very interesting change. Gonna make us see new mid game compositions from Zerg instead of the same old like Roach, Ravager, Lingbane into Broodlords. We're not going to see that anymore. Don't worry, Stroyer 1. This is going to go on YouTube. Broodling leash range decreased from 12 to 9. Good. Fuck the Broodlord. Free unit spawners are broken. Why does a free unit spawner have 12 range? Good. Thors are going to be working against them again. What's the unit that I'm thinking? Thors are going to work better versus them. This is going to help you shoot them with Tempests. It's just going to be a host of, like, really quality of life things for Terran and Protoss that, like, make fighting against Broodlords easier. The Nidus Network, overall, this doesn't seem like a big change, but because they added this 14-second cooldown, and because they're doubling the time that it takes for things to unload and load, I like this change a lot. It's very cool. We're getting the Nidus Lube. They're nerfing the name of Nidus Lube. It just needs to be called Nidus Lube. That would be the way. But it's a Hive upgrade, which is a pretty big deal. It's a Hive upgrade. Like, that kind of sucks. What are Zerg's late game units now? It's going to be just as good. Like, your late game units are going to be just as good, but it's not going to be absolutely unengageable. Because of how it currently rolls is that, like, you get Broodlords, you get, like, 10 of them. And then you get, like, 15 or more infestors, and the Zerg is unengageable. You do not get to engage the Zerg player. Even with Tempests, which outrange all of the Zerg player's units, you can't use Tempest to poke, because one fungal goes down and you lose all the units. You like that. Well, I'm sure that you like it that your army is unengageable in the late game, but that's not fair, right? So this is good. They're going to make it so that a single Oracle can't get through a shield battery. I like that. The charge upgrade, extra movement speed on the Zealot. I like this. No more +8 damage. It's going to make a lot of difference in, like, harassment Zealots. If you put a Warp Prism inside of a Terran's base and you warp in Zealots and you have 12 Zealots in their base, think about, like, 8 less damage on every Zealot. What's 8 times 12? Like 90. It's almost 100 damage. 100 less damage in the initial burst of your Zealots fighting. That's a lot less damage. So them getting a huge movement speed buff is very cool, but at the cost of, like, a gigantic damage debuff. Adepts, this is not very good. I don't like this very much, especially because, like, it's still an upgrade. If they were just removing the upgrade and making the Adept get this ability, like, straight out the gate, that would be different, but, like, having an upgrade that makes the unit stronger as a harassment unit, not useful, not useful. Infestors are fine the way they are? Definitely not. This nerf to the Observer, this kind of sucks, but, I mean, what are we going to do? People don't like Protoss being able to scout or having map vision. Flux Veins on the Void Rays, yay, your Void Rays move faster. I really don't see a lot of use for this. The Void Ray is still not going to move as fast as the Zealot does. That's actually hilarious. The Zealot is going to move faster than the Void Ray does. Nice. The Tempest range is getting reduced. This is because the Broodlord's range is getting reduced, and because Neural Parasite's range is getting reduced. This helps a lot. They're increasing the HP, but they're decreasing the shields. This is nice. You're going to have less impact from getting EMP'd. You're going to be able to survive longer versus Thors. This is nice. This is nice. I like this a lot, actually. And then the buff to Time Warp, very cool. Less delay on Time Warp. what would happen before is this is like such a long delay on time warp taking effect, 3.5 seconds. The fight's like over after time warp happens. So you throw time warp down, your opponent moves through it or moves away from it, and then it activates and it's doing something. This is nice. And now it's a heroic unit, and it can't be taken over by a neural parasite. I like it. I like all of it.